Hi, good morning. Welcome to my Wednesday devotional. I hope you guys are all doing well, and you might be able to hear some of my fans in the background. We have to run fans up here because it just gets very hot and humid up here on the second floor in our house in Maryland, because it's just that time of year when things are just very muggy and hot and, in the DC area. You guys know what I'm talking about, hopefully. But anyway, so if you hear that, sounds like an airplane noise. It's just the fans in my other room. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I know I've been getting out and doing our walks and runs or whatever, getting my tan, woohoo, and trying to stay cool in this mugginess. But anyway, all right, we are on Esther. We're on chapter 9. This was last week's verses. We got this week's. I'm trying to roll through because I want to do some summer stuff, and then God willing, hopefully be able to do the study of David. I'm still kind of putting that together in my mind. So so I got a little reference speaking of David, but anyway, I'm going to get to that in just a second. But just let you know, because we'll be going on vacation and all that kind of stuff like that. So I like to go a little lighter in the summer, and I like to do outdoor stuff. So I'm trying to roll through this because we're almost done. So I know I've been in the studio all year with, inclement weather and everything, but now that the sun is shining, yay, and the track is open, yay, I definitely like to do outdoor stuff. So, all right, let's get going. All right, so last week we started Esther 9, verses 1 through 4. I'm going to read those really fast, and because I know there's a lot of them, and then we'll go to this week's, and we got 5 more verses on this week. So, all right, let's get rolling. So, Esther 9, 1 through 4. So on March 7th, the 2 decrees of the king were put into effect. On that day, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them, but quite the opposite happened. It was the Jews who overpowered the enemies. So the Jews gathered in their cities throughout all the king's provinces to attack anyone who tried to harm them, but no one could make a stand against them, for everyone was afraid of them. And all the nobles of the provinces, the highest officers, the governors, and the royal officials helped the Jews for fear of Mordecai. For Mordecai had been promoted in the king's palace, and his fame spread throughout all the provinces as he became more and more powerful. All right, this week's verses is 5 through 10. So the Jews went ahead on the appointed day and struck down their enemies with the sword. They killed and annihilated their enemies and did as they pleased with those who hated them. In the fortress of Susa itself, the Jews killed 500 men. They also killed, now forgive me, I might mess this up, Parshadatha, Dalphon, Asphatha, Paratha, Adila, Arithadatha, Parmashta, Arisai, Aridai, and Visatha. So sorry. The 10 sons of Haman, son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, but they did not take any plunder. Okay, the reason why I highlighted this one is, and like I said, forgive the chop up of the names here. They're so complicated. Is because they didn't take any plunder. And I found that very interesting because I was remembering that I thought in part of one of David's stories, King David, and he's got a lot of great stories beyond just David and Goliath. But I thought I remembered something about, because King David had many campaigns of, he was a warrior, and in one of them, I thought it said something to the effect of they didn't take any plunder, where they killed their enemies but didn't take the plunder. Or, it could have also been Abraham. You know what? I can't remember. I apologize. But if you do remember, please feel free to comment. But I thought it was David, but I could be wrong. But in any case, if it wasn't, okay. But if it was, I did a quick research, and King David, and it always gets very confusing because he doesn't have his own book of the Bible. He's in the book of Samuel, and actually someone had told me this, and I should research before saying on that part. But what I did research today was that King David, on the timeline, he was about 500 years before Queen Esther. And so sometimes in the Bible, it just gets a little confusing because some of the stories overlap or the timeline's off, whatever. So it's hard to tell. So that's why I had to Google it real fast to find out where King David was, because he's what I want to get going on in the fall. And there you go. Maybe there's a reason why. Just kind of feel led to do that. So we'll see. But the reason why I wanted, because I am kind of comparing between King David, King Esther, they're both my favorite characters of the Bible. So interesting that David was about 500 years ahead of Esther. So this sentence here, but they did not take any plunder, just kind of stuck out, in me, like I'd seen it before in the Bible. So that could be something to look up. So I want to say it was David and his team, but then again, it could have been someone else. They had wars all the time in the Old Testament. The stories kind of blend together after a while, and I'm not very good with history, but anyway, so if you know better, please do feel free to comment, and you can enlighten all of us, especially me, because I'm not that good with history. But anyway, so I thought I'd seen that somewhere. But interesting, but nonetheless, it's interesting that they did not take any plunder from the sons of Haman. So I just kind of wonder what that means. Is it maybe they don't want a reminder? I know I would. This would be kind of gruesome, but or maybe they were just like, I don't want to have this around. I don't know. Or maybe they're trying to be respectful. Of, hey, we just need to kill you because you're Haman's son. Sorry, we don't want your stuff. We just want you dead. Could be something like that. I don't know. It's hard to tell because they don't tell us. But something to think about, But another interesting part, and I didn't highlight this one, but they did as they pleased with those who hated them. Ooh, we know later on in the New Testament, Christ calls us to love our enemies, and not seek vengeance. As I do remember, and I'm really having a hard time remembering today. I know it's in the Bible. The Lord said, not to take revenge. Vengeance is mine, as saith the Lord. That part I remember. And I just don't remember where in the Bible. I apologize. Wow, I'm not on my game today. But it's just things that kind of stood out to me that, wow, the Jewish people were able to go ahead and get total vengeance against their enemies. So, but like I said, later on, Christ calls us not to do that. But that's in the New Testament. That's later into the future. So at this point, but it might have just all been for God's plan. We just don't know what God's plan is. And maybe that is the Lord's taking vengeance, saying, "Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead and get rid of them." Who knows? I'm not trying to even going to attempt to be into what the Lord's thinking. I just be obedient, and this is what the Lord called for. So, okay. And when you think about it, the Jews had, they are the chosen people, and they had been through a situation, where Haman was trying to destroy them. So now they got the chance to seek vengeance according to the Lord's call. I think that's the difference, is that it has to be directed under the Lord's guidance. But again, I don't want to speculate too much. So I'm not God, I'm not Holy Ghost Jr. So it's just me enjoying the scriptures and trying to figure out, what is God trying to put on my life? What is he trying to put on your life? And just being able to share the scriptures is really just quite a blessing, and really fascinating too. Because I don't know all the answers, and I think that's the way God does keep it that way, because it definitely keeps me interested. So anyway, okay, well, I hope you guys are having a great day and not too hot where you're at, and hopefully you can stay cool in this heat, especially as we go forward in the summer. And like I said, I hope to be able to do some outdoor stuff once I get done here. we'll be going through Esther chapter 10, so not much longer. We'll see what kind of outdoor stuff we can get done. And so, all right, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.